Welcome to Crisis in Perception, where we examine the system shaping our world one book at a time.
So in this explainer, we're going to deconstruct procrastination, but not as some kind of personal failing. Instead, we'll look at it as the predictable outcome of a self-regulation system, all based on the work in Timothy Pychal's book. Our goal here isn't about finding a quick fix, but really to understand the underlying structure that produces the problem in the first place. You know, to really get this system, we have to start with a pretty fundamental question about our own behavior. Why is it that we so often become our own worst enemy? Why do we knowingly undermine our own best interests?
Well, the answer starts with getting to the definition crystal clear. Procrastination isn't just delaying something. It's the voluntary delay of an action you fully intend to do, even when you know it's probably going to make things worse for you. That word voluntary, that's the key. It's what separates this from, a legitimate strategic postponement.
And this is absolutely crucial. We're not talking about laziness here or even bad time management. What we're really talking about is a breakdown in our ability to self-regulate. Think of it as a design problem within our own cognitive and emotional wiring, not some kind of character flaw.
So, how is this internal system actually designed to make us delay things? Let's break down its core logic, how it all works.
Okay, so it's basically a chain reaction, and it's all driven by one thing, our desire to escape negative feelings. It goes like this. First, a task you need to do makes you feel bad, anxious, bored, frustrated, you name it. Your brain's immediate impulse is to find relief from that feeling. In that exact moment, any future reward for actually doing the task feels abstract, kind of distant. But the reward for not doing it, that feeling of relief right now, that's immediate and it's powerful. And that relief is what reinforces the decision to delay, locking us right into a repeatable loop.
So what this really reveals is the core incentive that's built right into the system. It's designed from the ground up to prioritize short-term emotional relief way over any long-term goals. The system's prime directive is simple: give in to feel good in the present moment, no matter what the future cost is. To really get a handle on this incentive, it's actually helpful to think of the brain as a short-term accountant. It's laser-focused on the immediate emotional books. It's always going to choose to balance the current emotional budget to make us feel better now, even if that means racking up a huge debt of stress and undone work that's going to come due later.
And we're constantly trying to offload that debt onto this fictional character we create, our future self, right? We imagine this future version of us is going to have more energy, more motivation, more discipline. But really, this optimism is just a form of self-deception. It's a little cognitive trick that lets our present self get away with avoiding the task.
Okay, so if we know this system is so flawed, why is it so stable? I mean, why does this self-defeating loop keep going, even when we rationally know it's hurting us? Well, the system persists because its immediate reward, that little hit of emotional relief, is incredibly reliable. It works every single time. And on top of that, it's reinforced by several cognitive biases. We make what are called affective forecasting errors, which basically means we're terrible at predicting how we'll actually feel in the future. We just wrongly assume, oh, I'll feel more like it tomorrow. Then you add in things like willpower being a limited resource and personality traits like high impulsivity, and you've got a system that is just really, really hard to break.
And this is where we get to the real heart of the issue. When we misunderstand this whole internal system and we just call procrastination laziness, we're diagnosing the completely wrong problem. We see the symptom, the delay, but we completely miss the underlying system of emotional regulation failure that's actually causing it. That is the real crisis in perception.
But here's the thing. This internal system doesn't operate in a vacuum. Nope, it is massively amplified by the world all around us.
So just think of our internal wiring as this fundamental vulnerability, a system with totally misaligned incentives, always prioritizing the present moment.
And this vulnerability is constantly being exploited by external systems that are literally designed to capture our attention for their own purposes. I mean, modern life just pours fuel on the fire of our ancient brain wiring. The constant pings from our devices, the relentless pressure to be productive, the entire architecture of the attention economy, they're all perfect partners for our internal procrastination system. They offer an endless, on-demand supply of immediate relief from difficult tasks.
So when you understand this entire structure, both the internal and the external parts, it really changes how you view things. Not just procrastination, but concepts like willpower and discipline.
Self-discipline becomes less about brute force and more about strategically managing your environment and your emotions. The real fight isn't about your calendar. It's about regulating your feelings. And ultimately, what it all shows is that the design of incentives, both inside our heads and out there in the world, is what truly drives our behavior.
In the end, just seeing procrastination as a systemic, predictable outcome instead of some personal moral failure, that is the most critical first step. It shifts the focus from blaming ourselves toward analyzing the system, and it leaves us with a much more powerful question. If this behavior is just a predictable output, then what would it take to redesign the inputs?
This project is free and publicly accessible. If you'd like to support the time, tools, and research behind crisis and perception, you can become a supporter on Patreon.
For a longer audio-based analysis of this topic, see the deep dive linked in the description. If you enjoy this kind of systems-level analysis, please like, subscribe, and comment with books or topics you'd like us to explore next.